Is there a way you can describe the Chinese perspective on crypto and blockchain versus Japanese?
There's always a very interesting metaphor compare the Chinese and Japanese culture. It's like the Chinese, it's like a peach. It's like the first bite, you will get the reward. So it's like when you getting closer to the core interest, the core business, the core sector of the whole society, you find it very, very hard. But then, so another metaphor for Japanese society is like, it's like a coconut. So at the beginning, it's very, very hard to penetrate. Once you spend enough time, once you spend enough effort to build the trust, it's like getting into the shell. And then inside, it's all about like the good coconut water.
You're tuned to the ArCast, where we talk about the blockchain on the ArCast and how your data remains the ArCast, where Arweave is the topic, censorship-resistant permanence. Yeah, we got it. Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 22 of the ArCast. Today we have Melody Taira of Meteorite Labs, who I met at the Mask.io event at NFT.NYC a few months ago. We talk about different cultural approaches to doing business, specifically in the blockchain sphere, and how Melody's Chinese and Japanese background gives her a really unique perspective. So I really like this interview. Melody's super cool. Great interview. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Mina, who are the cryptocurrency accountant experts in the UK. Be sure to stay tuned. Inferno is still raging on. We got the mobile app coming soon and a lot of interesting things happening in the RIO world. So be sure to follow our social media channels and stay updated. In the meantime, this is my interview with Melody from Meteorite Labs.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the ArCast. I'm here with Melody, who I met at the Mask.io event at NFT.NYC, and she's an LP with 7X, who's an investor in Arweave, but also her own projects, Incuba Alpha and Meteorite Lab, are two things she works on. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk to you, Melody, about your journey into crypto and Web3.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I've been doing good. This is almost like midnight at Tokyo, but I feel really powerful because normally I check a lot of messages from my friends in the West, and then at this moment, because it's like active hours for them. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of crypto it's very much about being worldwide, right? Like I'm sure you fly to events all the time. You were at the NFT.NYC week, just going to all sorts of events. What was that trip like? Like, how was your week there?
I mean, it's really big and fantastic, very diverse events. I met a lot of friends, reconnected with a lot of friends after the pandemic, right? And in the past 2 and 3 years, I spent a lot of time in Asia, I stay in Japan, where my parents stay. And then also I travel and stayed in China for a long time, for 2 years, to get to know the ecosystem there and settle. And then because of the visa things and everything, it's very, very hard to travel to the Europe and also the West. So, and that NYC NFT is definitely the good chance to be reconnected to the friends there. Yeah.
It's because it feels like it was one of the first big blockchain events, like post with quotes, post pandemic, right?
It was like the whole event was kind of like pandemic event because nobody is wearing masks, because it's very hard to imagine like in Asia, like everyone is wearing masks and just so careful about getting the COVID. But then in the New York, I feel like people don't give a fuck on that. People are so passionate on, the crypto events and also what's the new trend. Even the market was not so bullish, but then, I mean, it doesn't really, doesn't kill people's passion about it still. I mean, it's really good to see new people are coming and also old people are sticking there. I feel like in Asia in general, people have more trust in their government and in a lot of authorities and stuff. So when people are told that wearing a mask is better for your health, and then people just follow. It's normally like that. Some people have challenges, but it's more like a cultural, more like a manner thing. If you don't wear a mask, you might danger others. So that's why people are wearing it. Not necessarily because of the government telling them to, but yeah, it's a very complicated reasons, but it's being a habit for people to wear a mask. But I mean, like, I respect people who don't want to wear a mask as long as, they feel comfortable, and then other people don't have opinion on that. I mean, that's fine. Because like in New York, the whole atmosphere is like that. So I don't have opinion over that, but it's like keeping myself healthy. It's very important because crypto life is very intense.
What did you study if you went to school, and what led you into this world?
Yeah, my major was law. So I went to school in Japan, I went to school in China, I went to school in America. So that's why I speak 3 languages, like at business level. And then my major was law. So the real reason, the first time I heard blockchain and I was like drawn by the idea of decentralization is more related with its, the nature of decentralization is pretty much similar with democracy and the whole, the political system and stuff like that. And especially, for example, right now people are so big on the DAOs and everything. But I mean, like, DAO is some kind of the new form of how people gather together and discuss things and co-work together. And you can also see these kind of like organization in normal political life, or in, for example, as Congress, as a certain kind of party, or as a member of company, or are you a member of NPO or something. So DAO is just another form of people getting together and work on things they're passionate about. So I feel a lot of like a similarity with my major, and then with the whole centralization idea of blockchain. So that's the first reason I got very, very interested in this thing. That was like back in, I think, end of 2017-ish, and then beginning of 2018. Yeah.
Wow. So you came in at a very good time.
When you first get into the industry, you don't, you're not throwing all the money into it, right? So if I invested in 2017 and then I quit, I exit 2018, that would be fantastic. But then the fact was that totally on the contrary, I lost a lot of money. When I first get into the industry, I invested in a lot in many of the projects. So like the ICO was a very big thing, etc. And then I lost a lot of money. But well, to be honest, back then I was like very, very young, and then I don't even have much money. So there's nothing to lose. So I was like, stick here, and then might be more interesting coming up. Yeah. That's
Bob Dylan has that lyric, when you've got nothing to lose.
You have nothing to lose is probably the best asset a young person could have. It's like the reckless fearless courage getting into anything.
I'm wondering if there's a correlation with like being an LP with 7X, because you all come together, you're an investor, you're involved in this project, it's decentralized, it's autonomous. Maybe like it's interesting having your legal perspective set you up to be able to be intelligently involved with a group like that. Like, so what was the chain of events that led you to 7X?
I mean, in Asia, a lot of funds, probably very similar to the Western world. It's like many of the fund managers and also the DAO members, they communicate with each other. So I know 7X people since, I think, 2019, right after or before the Osaka DevCon, the Ethereum DevCon. So I know them for a while. And then I really appreciate their investment thesis, like how they really passionate and also really being supportive with early stage projects who have a belief in this industry instead of just chasing some hot topic and stuff. So I mean, when nobody was big on Arweave, and then they were probably pretty much very first to several people around in China at least, or in the whole Asia, pay attention on Arweave. And then also right now they are big on the Web3, data layer and a lot of social fi related stuff, and also the future DID stuff. So I feel like their thesis is quite advanced and willing to take risk.
You've worked with a lot of different projects and you're able to use your time efficiently. How do you have time? How do you find time to work with Meteorite Lab and Incuba Alpha? Like at what juncture did you start working on those projects?
It's like, when I talk to people that I work right now, I'm mainly working with like three parties, like entities, like Meteorite Labs, Incuba Alpha, and also Aki Network. People will feel like, oh, you're so distracted and stuff like that. But it's not actually like that, because Incuba Alpha and Meteorite Labs are two kind of like crypto funds that I funded. So we invest. We basically just invest. But every time I invest in any of the portfolio, I also invest my time. So I have to take care of them even as the after service after the investment. So I normally help them to form the strategy on their user growth, and also especially community building and marketing stuff, bootstrapping everything, especially on the APAC area, mainly like in Japan, in China, in Korea, in Southeast Asia, etc. So anyway, I have to do those things for my portfolio. So during the process of me helping those portfolio, I realized there are a lot of problems that we need to solve. For example, how to more efficiently collect like influencers' data and how to evaluate their performance, how to collect their credential records, and all those things lead to the birth of the new project called Aki Network, because that one is mainly the application layer of that project is mainly aiming to help my portfolios to grow their users. So everything is connected, actually.
That is a big question with Web3, especially with community management and with ArDrive and RIO. That's something we try to focus on, making sure the community knows what's going on. We know what's happening with them. So what are some ways you found that help grow communities? Is there anything specific that you're like, oh yeah, this works well?
Yeah, I mean, like speaking of like marketing and community building, a lot of people might think, oh, it's just give them some airdrop and then attract a lot of people into the DC, into the Discord or follower on Twitter, and that's enough. But the thing is like it's far from enough. It's like only probably the beginning. So Aki Network is trying to help them to complete the first step. But then, I mean, to maintain a vivid live like communities, you really need to convey your messages, like what you are really doing, what is your product, and how can you as a user to interact with us, and how can we do for you? Those things you have to really put time and energy to try to convey the message. So, I mean, to express yourself, to convey the message, and to guide the user into taking a certain type of action, that requires more effort. It's not only just release a Twitter and just release a tweet. That's enough. It's not like that. It's like you have to constantly keep telling people and keep like encourage other people to help you to promote and to spread the words out, and then have including more people to get into the Web3, get into like trying out your product, everything. So I think some people just think, okay, let me get like 40K or 50K people into the DC and that's enough. But what if you don't have the idea what people are actually talking in your Discord, or if you don't know like how people are thinking about your project or what exactly are they thinking or what they need, then I think it's a total failure of the so-called community building. So if you only have like 500 people, but those people are really passionate and really talk about your project, I mean, that's still a success. You can prove to a lot of people that you're really building the community. So I think community or marketing is highly, deeply related to what exactly are you doing. It's not an easy problem.
Are you optimistic about the future?
Oh, I think I'm definitely optimistic. Nothing could be worse than 1929, right? It was like right before the war. And then I don't think, a lot of people are talking about, all those like political threats and everything. And there might be a World War III or something, but I don't really think so. It's like, First reason is like the economy is so diverse and so globalized. So everyone has each other's money in their pockets. So there's no reason to start a war. And the second one is like, you look at the crypto, I think it's even beyond the traditional globalized economy. It's not only about American doing business with Japanese or Koreans are making money with Chinese. It's more like globalized talents are trying to build something to solve the problems that human beings are really together facing. So I'm optimistic about the economy, about the future, and also at the same time, also has the expectation and also the wish that we could, really work together, and especially maybe leverage the power of crypto, leverage all the money in the crypto to maybe do some projects, maybe related to, I don't know, like weather change or poverty or anything related to the realistic real world problems and stuff, maybe education or something. That's what I expect from the future DAO. Maybe not only the investment venture type of DAO, not only the DeFi type of DAO, or not only the project type of DAO, but also some DAOs that to tackle some problems that everybody is really facing together. Yeah.
That's really good perspective. And I do agree that we're all still figuring this stuff out, but the potential is huge there. And having early believers like yourself who care and want to make a difference, I think that's why I'm excited about this space and why it's fun to talk to people who are figuring this out and helping build everything. Were you born in Japan?
Parents have both like Japanese and Chinese background. So I was like born in both countries. So I know the culture quite well in both.
Is there a way you can describe the Chinese perspective on crypto and blockchain versus Japanese?
There's always a very interesting metaphor compare the Chinese and Japanese culture. It's like the Chinese are the Chinese society, or either it's like society or the business wise kind of society. It's like a peach. It's like the first bite, you will get the reward. You feel like, oh, it's easy to do business in China. It's easy to make money with Chinese or together a partnership with Chinese. But then as you get deeper and deeper, know the society and know everything, you will find China is big. So it's like when you getting closer to the core interest, the core business, the core sector of the whole society, you find it very, very hard to penetrate. Very, very hard. It's like it's not that open. But if you just stay in the middle level or the tier 2 or tier 3, yes, you can definitely benefit from working with the whole Chinese business society. But for Japan, so for crypto, same. It's like it's easy to get Chinese user on board at first, but then if you want to really maintain and keep the attention from Chinese users, you probably need to work really hard to gain their trust in a long run. So sometimes that's why also some of the projects say, Chinese users are just flippers. They flip very quickly. It's actually because, Chinese are receiving a lot of messages, a lot of like new projects. So it's very, very easy to distract them with like something new. So they love to try something new. Like Chinese love to try something new, always try new restaurants, new fashion style, everything new. But then, so another metaphor for Japanese society is like, it's like a coconut. So at the beginning, it's very, very hard to penetrate. It's very, very hard to knock on the door. And then it's hard to understand the culture. It's hard to understand the people. But then once you spend enough time, once you spend enough effort to build the trust, it's like getting into the shell. And then inside, it's all about like the good coconut water. You will definitely benefit a lot from doing business with them and building the long-term relationship. Once they trust you, they will stick to it. So the loyalty is much higher than any of the areas much higher than the Chinese, much higher than Korean, much higher than the Western community once they stick to it. So, for example, my recent portfolio, Steppen, the Move to Earn kind of project, Steppen. So, even in the bear market, the Japanese users' loyalty and stickiness is the highest. They always being so supportive to the project. So, I mean, to any of the project who really want to build long-term community, long-term trust with some Asian community, I definitely suggest them to try Japanese market first, and then gradually spending time to tell the story of themselves to the people there. And also Chinese communities are also very interesting. It's very, very alive, vivid, changing, always having surprise you with new things. So how can people stay updated on your projects and your life? Do you have social media or Twitter? Melody Taira. It should be. And my profile picture is a moonbird. It's a moonbird with rainbow moonbird, because I'm LGBT. So I buy related about rainbow thing. So it's so cliche, but yeah. Melody, thank you so much. You had some great perspective. Thank you for being generous with your time and sharing your philosophy. And hopefully we can talk again, but this is a really cool interview. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah. It's great. Interviews. Thanks, Melody. That was an awesome talk. We will be back in 2 weeks with our friends from Mina. And we hope you all are having a good September. Stay cool. Keep uploading that flavor and stay tuned to our socials. Oh, and follow us on TikTok too, because there's a lot of exciting Arweave content constantly happening. Thanks, y'all. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.